Thank you, Titus, and good evening, all. Not too long ago, in Oxford, England, a young man sat in a tool shed. He contemplated the idea of looking at and looking along a light of beam, and described that when looking at, one is merely an outside spectator, while when looking along, one is experiencing the topic firsthand. These were the two ways C.S. Lewis explained how we consider facts. Tonight, I would like to invite you all to come look along with me as I share with you my story of how I got here to this moment, so that you all may better understand it by experiencing it with me rather than being outside observers. I'd like to point out that public speaking isn't my strong suit, so bear with me. Okay. Okay. I was born and raised in Santa Ana, and I attended public schools up until Pacifica. And at these public schools, I was actually the quiet and shy person at the back of the room that always quietly did her work and paid attention in class. So as a result, I got straight A's and was repeatedly told by my teachers that that's what a good student was, that I was doing everything right and was well off to a path of success. And so I quite honestly didn't really think much about it, and because I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. Then I was offered the chance to come to Pacifica, and at first I definitely hesitated because I thought, how would I, a first-generation Chicana who grew up and went to school where Hispanic kids were the majority, how would I go to a private Christian school where I'd be the minority? I saw those movies and TV shows where the person of color gets bullied and made fun of, and it's important to know at this point that I had never had a real conversation or relationship with a white person before, so this is all new. And so my first thought about Pacifica was no. I would have to be crazy to put myself in that position. But then I thought about what I had been told my whole life, that it was a great sacrifice for my parents to come to this country, and that I should seize every opportunity to be successful, so that their sacrifice to immigrate here for a better life was not done in vain. And what was this better life? To get a good education in high school, go to a prestigious four-year university, get a degree, then work until you make a lot of money. So from what I understood, the money was the end goal. So for years, I thought that the good, successful, and abundant life was a life filled with riches, filled with wealth and commodities. A life where you work hard, and then where you study hard, work, and then work until you retire. Retire until you're 60, preferably in a home in the Bahamas, if all goes as planned. So in pursuit of this dream of success, I said yes to Pacifica, and on August 25th, 2015, I distinctly remember getting dropped off in front of all these happy and welcoming teachers in the parking lot, and I thought, what is this place? In my classes, there were only about 6 to 17 students, and so even if I tried, I couldn't hide quietly in the back. And the picnic tables engaged everyone in the conversation, but I realized that the thing I was struggling the most were the rigorous classes. It wasn't so much the quantity of work we were receiving as the content we were asking to learn. My math teacher was asking us about the why of math, when I thought all we were ever supposed to care about was the how. When in my humanities and English classes, we were having Socratic discussions on philosophers and theologians. We were only 14 and 15-year-olds who were put in a circle and asked to ponder for an hour or so what the meaning of human existence was. And I thought, man, this school is weird. God. But it was a private liberal arts education. So this had to be the thing that would get me to the good, successful, and abundant life, right? In those first few weeks, I played along and contemplated these difficult topics because I had to maintain my good grades. Then came the study of Boethius and Plato, and I began to contrast the achievement and material-focused voices in my life with these new voices of these philosophers. Boethius taught me about the goddess of fortune, whom the Romans knew, who, depending on her mood, might either shower us with gifts or steer us towards catastrophe. These gifts were most of what we would think of today as the fundamental ingredients of happiness, such as career, reputation, and wealth. That's when I began questioning the successful and abundant life I had been told about. For Boethius said that there's something unsatisfactory in pursuing a life of riches. We long for something beyond that. And for a while, I was disappointed at all the people that had told me I had gotten it right, that the good, successful, and abundant life was a life of commodities and wealth and the absence of work. But then I wondered how it was possible that so many people got it wrong. And Plato's concept of the soul helped me make sense of it. Helped me make sense of why everyone was focused on achievement and materialism.
The problem is that we don't listen to our reason or our will, but rather our appetites that long for fortune's temporal goods. I realized that I had a disordered soul, that I had to die to my own idea of what the good life was in order to see what was truly good and beautiful. Pacifica forced me to stop from this life of go, go, go that I was living and to rather see and reflect upon my own life and motives. The result of a Pacifica education is a life of thinking deeply and living joyfully at the same time in community with others. And so we come back to our Oxford young man, C.S. Lewis, who said that humanity has always had a shadow of something infinitely more important than itself. The good, successful, the good life isn't the life of wealth and commodities, but rather it's the life of truth and wonder found beyond the narrow goals of this temporal world. Thank you.
Now, please join me in welcoming a young man who's a Star Wars fanatic, David Bowie lover, and who oftentimes goes by the alias of Lush. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Luke Spicer.